I love tea. I really, really love tea. Did I mention that I love tea? I could talk all day about tea. Hey guys, Ranch in here, Beyond of Commentary. This is going to be the second set between Snow and Jaedong, or between Jaedong and Snow, for those of you that prefer Jaedong, which I assume is a majority. Of course, this is the PDPOP MSL quarterfinals, aka round of 8. This is going to be on Curcuit Breaker at the bottom left-hand position. Playing as the Blue Zerg, we're going to have Jaedong, who currently is 1-0 ahead in this series and looks dead tired as always. At the upper right-hand corner, we're going to have, playing in magenta, Snow as Protoss, who also seems to have slight bags under his eyes. Although I can't tell as well. Maybe the makeup team really did a fantastic job on him before he came out onto the stage. So, yes, as I've said, 1-0 ahead, Jaedong, but still, it is a best of 5. Slightly uphill battle here for Snow, but, you know, after that one loss, he's had a little time to kind of, you know, get it back. You know, take a breath, relax, play some Pro League, get himself back into it, and figure out some strategies, figure out some ways to possibly win. And it's going to be tough for him. Definitely, it is his worst matchup, but still, I've seen some insane Protoss awesomeness from Protoss players that play against their worst matchup. Stork's worst matchup is versus Zerg, yet some of his best games of all time are versus Zerg. It is kind of, you know, not maybe at the same level comparing Stork to Snow, but Snow is still a very strong Protoss player, and I think despite this being his weakest matchup, he can still pull out some tricks, some epic micro, or rather macro, actually, now that I think about Snow. So let's see, we're going to have very standard stuff. Forge Fast Expand for Snow. He has to play very safe here because this is a Zerg player, more of a Zerg favored map. Zerg have an much easier time, especially if the game goes into the long game. The longer the game goes on, the easier it is for Zerg. And Jaedong gonna start with an overpull, hiding the Zerg there smartly. Probe seeing hiding the drone there. I'm sorry. Probe goes up the ramp, not spotting the drone. Then drone can safely put down the hatchery. Smart play there from Jaedong. Just, you know, that hatchery would eventually come down, but, you know, possibly would have been delayed by 10 to 20 seconds if the probe was really, really irritating and really good, really well microed. Standard stuff to start off, nothing too crazy to think about, but yeah, as I was saying, this is a 4-player map, and it is balanced more towards Zerg than Protoss. Protoss have a much harder time taking and holding their third gas. I mean, they don't need it right away. They can kind of transition and out to the mineral only that they have outside of their natural, but it is very much, it is quite a bit out in the open compared to their natural expansion. And it is a mineral only, but meanwhile Zerg, they can just skip that entirely and move towards, across the map, like Jaedong, for instance, could move towards the upper left-hand side of the map and take the entire left side and feel very safe that way. 2 photon cannons coming up here for Snow, so whatever aggression, it's not really going to happen. Jaedong didn't really get that many Zerglings out there to put on too many pressure. He is putting down the third base here at the natural expansion at the upper left-hand corner. As I said, this is pretty much what Zerg will do. They'll take that quick third, and then it'll transition into a rather fast fourth as well, and they're going to be safe because they can kind of hunker down, close off, sunken up, and play defensively, play passively for the most part until they get their forces up. And of course, Jaedong is an overall very powerful player. He's just an overall beast. He's good in early game, mid game, late game. He's good with micro. He's good with macro. And the words "good" describing Jaedong's skills really don't say enough. But of what is generally considered the big 3, now I don't even think you can say that anymore. I think at this point it's only the big 2. The big 3, of course, used to be Jaedong, Flash, and Bisu, but now I really think there's only the big 2. It seems like Bisu isn't really at that level at the moment anyway, but at one point there used to be those basically the 3 beasts of each race, and they used to be kind of competing at the same level. And Jaedong and Flash seem to be there right now. And of the, let's say, big 3, the 2 giants right now, of the 2 Bonjos of our time, I guess you could say, Jaedong's the only one in either Star League that has still not been knocked out. And you never know, Snow might pull, I'm not going to say a miracle because I don't think he's that bad a player that he's incapable of beating Jaedong, but he's going to have to pull out all the stops. And if he manages to play ridiculously well, completely at the top of his game, while still with some trickery, then he might be able to knock Jaedong out. Because honestly, against Jaedong, you really have to not just play your best. There just has to be that a little bit of extra something. Spire is coming down for Jaedong alongside his lair. Still don't see his Hydra in anywhere, so we're gonna see whether he goes for 3-base mutas, or just goes for the Scourge to start off, just to take out those initial Corsairs, because we do see that Stargate coming out right now. But yeah, Snow is bunkered up pretty well. I don't think bunkered up is the correct word, seeing as that's more of a Terran turn, but yeah, he does have a couple of cannons there at the front. And he's not really expecting, he's done a so far decent job of scouting out. He's not really expecting spotting at third base and its status. He's not really expecting any sort of crazy aggressive, any Hydra bust. Has a Silver Doom coming up. We're going to see whether he actually tries to go for some DT harassment. Do see that Protoss have fallen away from that a lot because, of course, it's been ages since standard Bisu build has worked. Forge Fast expanding is very standard. Fast Stargate to Corsair is very standard. Even getting a DT just to go out there and poke is standard. But actually having that build do anything more than get scouting information, kill an Overlord or two, and maybe annoy the Zerg player that don't really do much these days, unless you go for something crazy like 2-gate Corsairs and just pump DTs and go crazy stuff like that, like I believe Cal did in his game against Great. That was kind of fun. Do see additional hatcheries coming up for Jaedong. Probably not going to be expanded to the 4th place quite yet, but probably going to get a little bit of an army going out there before it does anything like that. So robotics facility on the opposite side here for Snow. We're going to see what that's for. If it was going to be Reavers, I definitely think he would have already had that robotics facility before he put down the Citadel. So I'm thinking it's probably for observers more than anything else. Do see Hydra stand just now coming out. Corsair just spotting that as it flies by. Just going to check out the 3rd. See if he's taking out a quick 4th. Spotting this Scourge as they come at him. So manages to juke a little bit. Is probably going to get hit by that one Corsair. But that won't kill him. There are more Scourge out there. He's going to hit by Scourge. I'm sorry. But there's still a lot of Scourge flying out there for Jaedong, so he might still get hit by those. Got to be overall careful. Snow planting down additional photon cannons inside of his base just to, for one thing, to give the Corsair somewhere to fly back. There's the Corsair going down to Scourge. Nice trap there laid out by Jaedong, I believe. Scourge flying in from both directions. Really hard to juke if you're not paying 100% attention at that exact second as it happens. Still has a couple of Corsairs here. Scourge might hit something. Gonna take one cannon shot. Just gonna fly by, act as a scout, get all the information they need. And feel very safe. They're, of course, very fast, so they can kind of get in and get out. They can't take a lot of shots, can't take a lot of fire, but at this point, generally, you won't see Protoss with too many anti-air defenses unless they know that their opponent's stacking mutas like crazy. Do see a robotics support base, so that's interesting. Or a robotics support base following a Temple Archive. So it's very tech-heavy build here from Snow. Very tech-heavy. This is actually very surprising. Only on 2 bases, going for a very tech-heavy build right out of the gates. Has Templar Archives out there, I assume, for High Templar. Well, there's the initial DT out there, so that's that. But I assume he's going to go for a Reaver High Templar. So basically go for a heavy auxiliary force army, a heavy area of effect, AoE army, basically. Go for mass storms, Reavers. Very effective against a large Hydra army. It, however, can get in trouble against mutas unless you have enough Corsairs out there. Shuttle gonna fly around. Zerg gonna spot that very slow shuttle. I'm not quite sure what this is gonna do something. Scourge are gonna be right on top of that really soon. If he's gonna do something, he has to do it now. Gonna be able to pick up the DT. Gonna try to get inside the base. Scourge are on the way. Corsairs gonna try to fly an intercept. I don't think they're gonna manage to. The DT gets inside the base, but the shuttle will die. Nothing else on the shuttle. Seems like the shuttle just flew out there empty just to do the DT thing. I'm not quite sure what the Jaedong actually knew about that. Yes, we're way on top of this. DT's gonna run himself right into a corner and get killed. Nice play there from Jaedong. You know, as I said, Snow needs a little bit of trickery. He needs to be playing smart, trying to do these little things to give himself a little bit of an edge, but I really think that was kind of a waste of tech. He has his initial Reaver out there, adding some more gateways, so he hasn't had a ground army for quite a while, just not building out some Zealots and a few Dragoons to support. Has to go out there and do something with these Corsairs. I'm not even sure if he ever saw him kill an Overlord. He should have killed at least one out there somewhere. Maybe one that was scouting near his own home. But he hasn't really accomplished too much with these Corsairs. Meanwhile, out back home, gonna be a pretty high pressure here from Jaedong. Thankfully, Snow has that Reaver. That one's Reaver. He should actually be able to fight this back. Zealots and Dragoons gonna go in there into the gaps, close them off. More Hydras try to come in, but nice Scarabs overall from Snow, forcing these Hydras back. A few cannons go down. Jaedong keeps pressing in, but I think with that one single Reaver, and thanks to the fact that these buildings do a fairly good job of blockading, Hydra's gonna try to force themselves in, gonna try to snap the Reaver unsuccessfully. Snow has enough to block off. And he just needs to keep defending. Meanwhile, now at the opposite side, he's going in with... Why is he disengaging when he has only one Hydra there on the ground? He's going to lose his gateway here up front. So now he's lost his protection building. He has to be very careful not to lose that Reaver. Hydra's going to be able to get in close to taking out any more cannons. More cannons trying to be put up, but they're all going to go down. Some of the Hydras still die. So thankfully, just thanks to that one Reaver, Snow going to still stay in. This has a shuttle in there with speed. So now we can micro-claze you. Another Scarab. I don't even... 27 kills on that Reaver so far. Probably, if not all of those kills are Hydras, maybe a Zergling or two, because there were some out there. Forge going to be put up here at the front. Again, audacious play here by Snow, but I think really Jaedong's pressing this a little bit too hard. Getting in even more reinforcements for Hydras. Corsairs on the opposite side trying to get some Overlord kills just to deny some more reinforcements. Forge is finally up. Some more cannons going to be put up. Forge might actually go down, so if Snow going to put in some cannons, he's going to have to hurry up. Another Scarab going to go off. Going to become a dud. And yet another, but thankfully, Zealot speed just now kicks in. He's going to be able to break right out of this. Reaver really a big help. Not really hitting with all of his scares, but still going to be able to press this out fairly well with that shuttle in there. The Reaver gets a lot of maneuverability and really a lot more utility overall. Going to lose one Corsair as they fly around, but still also did some decent harassment back at Jaedong's place as it did. So it seems like another engagement coming in here. Got it close. Clumping up the sides a little bit too much. Where's the shuttle? Did the shuttle go down? Oh, seems like the shuttle did. Oh, no. The shuttle went back home, pick up another Reaver while the initial Reaver went down. The shuttle does go down. That was very low. Nice Scarab there, picking up a lot of Hydras. Some more Hydras go down. But at this point, Snow has lost most of his ground force. That Reaver going to be on top of the ramp. Going to be able to get maybe one more Scarab up before it dies. Oh, one more Scarab. Actually kills a lot of Hydras. But I just think at this point, Jaedong's put in a lot of pressure and a little bit too much pressure. One High Templar there. Probe's going to come on top of the ramp, right inside the main. Go on top of the ramp, right inside the main. Jaedong pulling the perfect timing, spotting that Snow had an opening, pressuring very hard, and just constant amount of pressure. Snow not being able to fight this back. Might still manage to has that Archon in there. Has a one High Templar. I almost called him a Hen Templar. That would have been interesting. Finally managing to pull his probes back in his natural expansion, and keeping that Reaver alive was pretty much one of the biggest things that saved him there. Jaedong not really daring to go all the way up the ramp because the Reaver was still alive. No buildings blockading. Jaedong still just managing to get some more reinforcements in there. Doesn't really have the strongest of economies, but still pumping enough from everywhere just to get as many Hydras out there as possible, just to put on as much pressure as possible. Still hasn't taken down the Nexus. Did force the probes back for a little bit. More Zealots coming out there. Really... some buildings would be beautiful for him right here. The DT will also do a little damage. No Overlords in there. No Storm as of yet. More Hydras moving in, but still doing an absolutely admirable job of fighting this back. Some Corsairs going to fly back maybe to help against that Overlord. Reaver still stay on top of that ramp, getting as many Scarabs up as possible, killing quite a few Hydras with every single Scarab. 15 or 16 kills at this point. Another Scarab going to go off, hit quite a few Hydras. Just buildings going down. So really, Jaedong not managing as much damage as he would have wanted. Now the Archons come out. One Archon going to go down, but that splash, that's exactly, he's not actually wasting money on Storms, it seems. Had no plans to do so. And actually smartly, since his economy wasn't really too strong because of all the tech he was forcing out. But right now he has a couple of Reavers and 3 Reavers in there. No shuttle, but he's playing full defense. 3 Reavers with a few Archons and Zealots standing in front of him. There's no way that Jaedong's going to be able to keep this up. He's just not going to be able to keep up this constant pressure. No way. Way too much splash damage. More cannons being put up, it seems. The Forge probably back home. I do believe he delayed... one more Overlord going to go down. Corsair's going to be able to get back alive, but I do believe he delayed Snow's upgrades by quite a significant amount. So there's that damage, but still those Hydras, they're not going to be able to penetrate with that huge amount of ground forces. It's just not going to happen. Jaedong might want to start picking up his 4th, actually. He is putting down a lot of pressure. He does have a contain. Why not work on your macro a little bit? He does have that Spire up, so you might be thinking of Mutalisks. Observatory finally out there in case there are going to be Lurkers coming out. Lurkers might actually be another decent choice, but with all that splash damage might not be the best. I think actually Mutalisks are kind of what he needs, because a lot of forces down the ground that just get raped by Muta Hydra combo. The Reaver's really vulnerable to that. A lot of Scourge flying around and just dying, really. Snow definitely trying to just break this contain right now, doing a fairly decent job. Now we're going to see the first person view of Jaedong. He has, or is rather in the process of picking up his 4th base at the upper left-hand main. Just trying to macro like crazy, getting his hotkeys going. Finally has those Mutas out there. I think that combo, it's going to be significantly harder for Snow to fight back. He needs to get some more Corsairs out there. Has, what, is that 4? I think that's 4 out there. Has a bunch of High Templars. I'm wondering when he's actually going to morph them into Archons. You just keep them for full for splash damage. It's actually a better idea for him to have Archons right now because if those Mutos come out there, they might try to suicide themselves into the Reavers, but if the Archons are on the floor, they're just going to have to sacrifice their lives to kill those Reavers. But at the same time, I think Hydra's in such a large amount with no Reavers to defend and no High Templars, they just might be able to mop up against nothing but Zealots and Archons. Still that shuttle in there, trying to desperately transport 3 Reavers around. There are a lot of High Templar, a lot of Mutos out there for Jaedong though, so I think Snow has to be extremely careful in his next engagement because if he makes any single mistakes, if he lets his Reavers get sniped, he is going to be in a lot of trouble. A lot of Hydras, some Scourge to help, a lot of Mutos. Finally going to come in engagement here. Mutos going to try to fly around, do as much damage as possible. They're just going to get splashed by the Archons. That happens. I think one of the Archons actually might have gone down unless there was only one Archon in there. Might be getting a bit blind here. Snow smartly going to pick up his Miner only. It does stretch out his defenses a little bit, but the way is not so bad that as long as he keeps an eye on what his opponent is doing, he should still be able to be fairly safe and defend. Because Jaedong can't really attack from both. He could go for a pincer attack. That's the scary part. Scourge going to fly like crazy. Not going to do too much damage. Didn't manage to hit the shuttle. Picked off, what, maybe one Corsair? Yeah, but having that Archon right under the Corsairs really helped Snow out. No way those Corsairs were really going to be able to do anything. Shuttle now just flying around. Mutalisks are close by, but Shuttle, I do believe, can outfly the Mutalisk fairly well. They have a bit of a lead. Overlord speed, of course, now up, so not going to be as easy to take out. But both players starting kind of to pick up the passive play just a little bit after that early aggression. I love T, and it loves me. Muto is going to come in here like green grades like crazy. I think one Reaver was lost in there. Storm did not do too much because of Jaedong's very beautiful micro. Just whoop-doo, flying, and then kind of fly back, and not too much happens. More Scourge flying in there, not spotting any shuttles. 2 shuttles now out there, so Snow's going to have to micro like a beast. We're going to need some godly shuttle micro from Snow for him to have a chance here. And still think that he's on the back foot just because a lot of pressure was done to him, and he really needs to get his economy back up. Seems like there's going to be another engagement here. Bunch of storms here for Snow. Some of them absolutely missing the mark, but still managing to spill a lot of Hydra blood. 1 DT going to yet again be dropped here at the upper left position. There is a creep colony there. Not going to be fast enough to turn into anything. That DT just has to get in there and kill something. There is a sunken colony. Why is he focusing down the sunken colony? Why are you focusing down the sunken? Well, mind you, Overlord will fly in and they'll kill you. Or the Mutas and Overlord will fly in, so he does kill the sunken colony. So if he's going to go for yet another attack there, it might be successful. But meanwhile, another DT gets sniped around the field, and another Overlord gets sniped across the field. But really, he should have try to get at least a few drones, because that pretty much that DT death was inevitable anyway. When you go and just leave a DT inside your base, he will die. It's just how much you can manage to do. Now going to drop these Zealots in here. There are Hydras to engage them, but let's see. Maybe they try. Are they going to go? Don't go for the Hydras. Why are you going for the Hydras? They can focus down on a Hydra fairly well when there's so few of them, but still, they need to go and just kill as many drones as possible. Weaken Jaedong's economy. That's very important right now. Does get a High Templar drop in there. Kills, what, 4 or 5 drones. Shell just ran another drop, getting quite a few more drones. Microing that shuttle like a boss, gonna lose it. And the High Templar, 1 High Templar still inside there. That's not gonna be able to do much. Losing 2 High Templar, at least, might have been 1. I think that actually might have been just 1 High Templar, because he had 3 Zealots, 1 High Templar in there, using the Zealots as a beautiful distraction, and then getting the nice drops with the High Templar. Very beautiful shuttle micro, nice distractions overall from Snow. This is what he needs to do. This little tricky kind of play. Take Jaedong off guard, play at his best, because if Jaedong is playing at his best, making no mistakes, and you're playing at your best and making no mistakes, if your name is not Flash, there is a good chance you'll probably lose, because Jaedong at his best is pretty much better than anybody else at his best, except maybe Flash. So you just need an extra little bit of something to take out Jaedong at his best. Still, he has a fairly large army at this point. It seems like he's going to be expanding his Holgok position, just kind of moving himself closer to his opponent. And Jaedong, slowly, bit by bit, seems like he's getting a little bit of trouble. Doesn't seem like he's pumping as large an army now. Hasn't really done too much. Lost some economy. Nice storms here on top of the bridge, forcing those Hydras back. A lot of storms all over the place. Corsairs flying out, killing more Overlords. I think that's actually been a very crucial factor for Snow, managing to get quite a few Overlords this entire game. And now he's just pressing in like crazy, but even more storms. Had a bunch of High Templar this entire time, just saving up as many storms as possible. And Jaedong has some Hydras and Lurkers there at the back, but it seems like, is he actually going to press in? It seems like he's not. It seems like he's going to go for a counterattack. I'm not quite sure whether there's enough to defend there. He's going to be able to shut down the Turtlecock position. Not really that much to defend back home for Snow. He's just going to be hoping, hey, okay, I'll sacrifice a base for these Jaedongs too. I think that's a fair. He has something to defend back home. Actually, has a shuttle with 2 Reavers inside and a bunch of Dragoons. That shuttle will actually go down, but the Reavers will still be able to do a lot of damage before they go down. Bunch of Hydras go down. The Lurkers go down. The Reavers do die, but the Lurkers go. Most of the Lurkers and most of the Hydras going down is going to be absolutely a critical factor. It seems like this is going to be sort of a base trade. Jaedong going to lose 2 bases at the upper left corner, his biggest economic mining bases now. And really, despite the fact that Snow now only has, after losing this base, will only have his his natural mining and not a lot. He's actually not even going to lose that base. Not even going to lose it. Jaedong just can't eke out enough reinforcements. Can't eke out enough forces overall to do enough damage. Snow with absolutely beautiful push, still keeping enough back home to defend. Just getting that army and getting out there and doing a bunch of damage. Huge amount of splash. And I still think that the only thing that's giving him this chance for victory here is that early game defense. Jaedong pushed, I think, for a little bit too long. The thing is that he should have accomplished more with that heavy pushing. He forced out so many Hydras, pushed like crazy, really needed to accomplish more. He killed some buildings, killed some forces, but he needed to take out probes. You need to possibly take out that Nexus, do a lot more damage. He just didn't. He just did not do enough damage. He let Snow back into this game, and now he's in a lot of trouble. Only has his 2 bases to Protoss's 3, and Protoss now working on his fourth one. His 3rd gas base. He still has his main and natural, I believe, almost completely mined out, so he's only mostly getting minerals from that 3rd, but still enough. He has a huge army right here, and I think any engagement that comes in, as long as Snow makes no mistakes, no huge mistakes anyway, he should be able to come out fairly well ahead. Has a lot of Dragoons as well to support from the back, help against those Lurkers. Let's see, not pumping from too many gateways actually, but still managing to eke out a fairly nice army. Of course, he is very support unit heavy. A lot of High Templar, a lot of Reaver, and really doing a great job of microing his army alongside his shuttles and Reavers and High Templar and everything. Now going to go for an engagement from the south, maneuvering his army. Oh, catching Jaedong, stuck on the bridges. His forces completely split up. GG from Jaedong. No chance there. That last push, wow, just catching Jaedong even more completely off guard. Really, Snow utilizing very nice timings, very nice harass overall to beat Jaedong there. That's going to be 1-1. Jaedong does not look too happy with that. He also happens to look just a little bit sleepy. Looks a lot happier on that picture that's on the desk next to him. But that's that. Wow, beautiful game there from Snow. Completely dominating. Well, I'm not going to actually, you know what? I'm not going to say completely dominating, but in that last part where the battle started to really count, really did an absolutely great job. Jaedong just did not manage to put on any pressure on his opponent after that initial contain, and after that, Snow just slowly, bit by bit, got allowed back into the game and just managed to utilize that to his best. So that's going to be 1-1 for now, guys. GG, wrenching out, listening. Hope you enjoyed.